This is the brand new realme GT6. It's the first GT series phone we've had from these guys in a couple of years actually, and I'm actually pretty excited about this, not just for the specs and the features, which I'll walk you through in a second, but also the price. They're pitching this as a proper flagship killer. So I've partnered with Realme to give you a walkthrough of the new GT6, share a few of my first impressions, and something a little bit different, I've actually jumped on a call with Francis from Realme, who knows everything there is to know about the phone, and I've got some pretty hard-hitting questions I'm going to put to him, including what does the GT actually stand for in GT6?
GT, when we were launching it, the reference we take was we were trying to build it like a car. So GT was like green tourism. So it's kind of like a car, a supercar with super performance, a flagship killer with some of the sense of design and premium. That's how I'm defining the GT.
So the GT6 comes in two flavors. This is Razor Green and this is Fluid Silver. Which one do you prefer? I think I'm gonna go with the green. Round the back, we have this quite unique contrasting two texture design, and apparently it takes Realme 30 different processes to achieve this industry first nano mirror design for the back cover, with this mirror coating giving it an incredibly smooth, bright, and very reflective look. 8.6mm thick, it weighs 199 grams, feels good in the hand, as the YouTuber cliche goes. We do get an IR blaster up top here, which you don't see very often, but no headphone jack, no micro SD card reader, and also there's no official IP water and dust resistance rating, although I'm sure it will survive a splash. Companies actually have to pay quite a lot of money to get that IP certification, so I guess they just made that decision to keep the costs down. So when it comes to actually designing a new phone, what's the process, and also do you have any input in it?
Three biggest points which matters: what color you use, what materials you use, and where you're gonna put your camera on. It has to go through multiple rounds of testing and sampling. I think the good design should not be complicated. It should be simple, direct, and it should be minimal. My personal favorite, Razor Green.
Up front, we have this 6.78-inch 120Hz curved OLED display, which also happens to be the world's brightest screen on a phone, peaking at a ridiculous 6,000 nits. 6,000! Now breaking that down, we're talking 1,000 nits of regular full screen brightness, 1,600 nits in high brightness mode or HBM, but then up to 6,000 nits on a smaller window. So we're not talking 6,000 nits at full screen brightness, but for making small highlights really pop in HDR content, in your games, and overall just making it easier to use outdoors in bright sun, it's technically very impressive, and it achieved SGS's 5-star rating for sunlight readability.
We want to build a display which is bright enough, power efficient enough, and also can protecting the eyes. There has never been any display in the market which is so bright. We've used the AT-LTPO technology on it, so the power consumption compared with the 70 technology which has been used in many other phones, the power consumption has been 20% lower. So we try to put one light sensor in it. It can make sure that the brightness of this display can adjust to more than 10,000 different levels. So it's not just a bright, it is actually bright to a level that you actually need it. And we've introduced the AI features. It can smartly monitor the eye strength and smartly adjust the brightness and the visual effect, so it protects the eyes. So we call it AI Protection 2.0.
Now this is the point in the video where I would tell you about the specs, what's powering these phones, and it actually says right on the back here the processor it's using. But unfortunately, I have been told I'm not allowed to tell you just yet. It is a closely guarded secret. What I can tell you is that it's a brand new Snapdragon chip, flagship level kind of thing. I don't want to get in trouble, but it's incredibly fast. Like, it'll play any game you throw at it flawlessly. you're not going to be disappointed. You can also open up the performance control center here, where you can literally change the frequency of the CPU cores and customize the GPU frequency. Now, obviously, you don't have to do any of this stuff. You'll still get a great optimized experience out of the box, but if you do like to tinker or fine-tune the performance for a particular game, you have the option here. It also comes with 8 or 16 gigabytes of RAM and either 256 or 512 gigs of storage. And for the battery, they have squeezed in a massive 5,500 mAh cell. And they tell me we can expect a full 24 hours of YouTube video playback or just under 8 hours of PUBG. And of course, Realme are famous for their fast charging, and bundled in the box we have their 120 watt SuperVOOC charger. Now that will get you to, I think, 18% from dead in 3 minutes, 50% in about 10 minutes, and a full charge 0 to 100 in 27 minutes. The only problem is there's no wireless charging support with the GT6, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame, but I guess that, again, that's another decision they've made to keep the cost down a little bit. Okay, let's talk about this camera system. We've got 3 lenses, with the main one here being a 50 megapixel sensor from Sony, and also together with a hypertone image engine and some very fancy AI background algorithm-y magic-y things, together with the ultra-wide and the telephoto lens. First impressions of, again, pre-release software, I've actually come away pretty impressed by this. And I wanted to get out of the studio and just test it somewhere a little bit more interesting. Here I am in Osaka. That's Osaka Castle. And there's about 1 million children over there, so I'm going to have to get ahead of them. But let's see what this can do, and let me show you around the castle. But what makes this camera setup specifically really stand out to you?
Let's say king of the night photography. So
the king of...
Yeah, I believe GT6 is definitely the best night photography phone in the market. In the hardware, we use the Tier 1 MEMS sensors from Sony, AI night vision video features, plus the hypertone image engine.
And in particular, Realme are very proud of the GT6's low light capability with their AI night vision mode, which uses an advanced night video algorithm to give you properly good low light video. And we also get their hypertone image engine, which improves all aspects of the camera, combining multiple exposures, denoising, AI upscaling to make your shots better.
So we were trying to use AI features. It will smartly put the missing pixels in the video you are shooting. So it makes your video much brighter.
Now, of course, no 2024 phone launch would be complete without the obligatory mention of AI. So you mentioned the AI eye detect, but what other sort of AI features do we have here, and which is your favorite?
When talk about AI features, GT6 was the first time that Realme was introducing its own AI system. We call it Next AI loop. It can read your message and judge what is your intention.
And basically you can touch and hold any image or text or video or file, drag it to the edge of the screen to bring up the AI Smart Loop, and it will intelligently suggest the apps you might need, which should save you some time. So let's say, looking ahead the next few years, what are we going to see change in smartphones? How is AI going to evolve? What are you sort of excited for with the future of this kind of tech?
Maybe I think smartphone will not be like today. It's like one of a big display there. It will be like minimal. It's like a small component. It understands all our intention. It talks to us. It's like Jarvis of the Arrowman. It will become our secretary. Right now, we are already started developing our next AI 2.0, and we're also testing fast charging at 300 watts.
So the GT6 will ship with Android 14, and we will be getting Android 15, although they haven't confirmed what support they'll be offering beyond that just yet. I will pin a comment, update the description when I have sort of confirmation on that. But of course, the big question that I've left to the end is the price. How much is the Realme GT6? Well, I can't tell you exactly. They haven't told me exactly. But what I can say is that it'll be under $850, which, given the spec and the processor, which I can't tell you, I think makes this very competitive. And one of the most interesting answers from my little chat with Francis is how they're actually not taking that much of a profit from some of these phones in order to grow the brand.
If Realme, as a comparatively new brand, wants to make its wave in the flagship markets, profit is not our first motivation. Our first step was to try try to increase our user base.
So that is the Realme GT6. If you've got any questions, drop a comment below, and I'll also leave a link in the description if you want to check this out for yourself. Hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chat.